Happy lunch hour, guys. All right, so I want to pose a question to everybody. Uh, Most of you probably remember the old TV show, The Beverly Hillbillies, okay? And if you remember the song at the beginning, the story, Jed Clampett was out, hunting in his backyard or whatever would be, and took a shot, and up comes oil. All right. I want you to think of this right now. Let's say that happened to you today. Simple as this. You're out in your backyard, you took a shot at something, you're digging a hole to plant green beans or whatever, and all of a sudden oil starts coming up. What would you do? Besides probably do a happy dance and go, yay, I'm rich. You'd probably pump it, right? And right now in the United States, with gas prices up over on average $4 a gallon, we could probably use the oil, right? It'd be a great idea. Hey, we can pump this oil, we can sell the oil, I can make some money, and off and running we're going. Okay. Until the government steps in, and the government says to you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, we'll pay you X amount of dollars a month not to pump that oil. We don't want to use it. Okay, say they give you $200 a month. You're going, I can make a ton more money pumping this oil than I could. But the government says, no, you know what? We need to not pump that oil. You'd go ballistic, wouldn't you? Sure. Okay. Well, as far-fetched as that story sounds, something similar is going on in the United States right now. Now, we all know that there's a food shortage, okay, around the world. I mean, if you take a look at it, rationing has already begun in Spain, rationing has already begun in Greece. There's all sorts of comments on, without the Russian and the Ukrainian wheat, countries in Africa are going to starve. Countries in Asia are going to starve. Okay. Even Joe Biden has said that food shortages are going to be real and that we might go into a famine. Okay. So if we're hearing all of this, these are factual things. Wouldn't you think that the governments of the world would do anything to make up for the shortfalls that we're going to have from what's coming out of Russia and Ukraine? Now, don't think that Ukraine is going to plant wheat or anything like that. I mean, hell, they're trying to dodge artillery shells right now. I think that's the only problem. China's come out and said that their winter wheat harvest this year is going to be the worst ever. Just to give you an idea, okay? 2 billion screaming Chinese, worst wheat harvest ever. So we're looking at a worldwide shortage in food. Now, is anybody familiar with what the Conservation Reserve Program is? The Conservation Reserve Program is, and this part you probably know, where the government pays farmers to not plant. Okay. Now I want to give you this. There's about 20 million U.S. acres that are in the CRP, where the government is paying these farmers to not plant. And the contracts that the farmers sign are anywhere from around 10 to 15 years. We're not going to plant this ground. It's all in the idea of saving the environment and doing all that sort of fun stuff. Okay, which, hey, no problem. I'll give you this. I want to give you a little fact here on how well this saves the environment. It takes nature about 500 years to naturally create 1 inch of topsoil. Okay? 10 to 15 years ain't squat. Okay? Now, what is the government paying these farmers to not plant? Minimum $13, maximum upward of somewhere close to 300 per acre, all right? So a farmer's feasibly getting $13 an acre to not plant, or up to close to $300 to not plant, depending on the quality of the ground, what crop was planted. Now I want to give you this, and this is kind of how I tie it into the Jed Clampett story. The average return for a wheat farmer is $112 an acre. The average return for a corn farmer is $237 an acre, and the average return for a soybean farmer is $297 an acre. Now, what it is for tomatoes, peppers, oats, whatever it is, I don't know, okay? But I'll give you this part. Obviously, farmers are in business to make money. So they're not planting something that they're going to lose money on. Common sense, right? Farmers, it's not a zero-sum game. It's certainly not a negative-sum game. So what we have is a food shortage, yet our government wants to take out 20 million, or has been taking out 20 million acres from production a year. Why? In the interest of climate change. We want to protect from soil erosion. We want to protect from polluting waterways, from chemicals or anything, fertilizers and stuff like that getting in the waterways. I will give you this. That is a good thing, all right? There are many better ways to do it rather than take farmland out of production, especially when we're in a situation right now where we have a food crisis around the world. At this point, you would think that the governments of the world, and at least of the United States, would go, hey, let's plant anything and everything we can to make up some of these shortcomings and everything. Because remember this, not only do we have the worst wheat crop ever in China, we have no production that we're going to get from Russia or Ukraine, but we also have that fertilizer issue, which is going to cut the yields of farms between a third and a half. Okay? They don't have the fertilizer, they're not going to get as much crop out of the land. So we need to plant more land, if you will, to get it. So you had a situation happen here a couple of days ago where Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, and Cynthia Lummis, senator from Wyoming, sent a letter to the Ag Secretary, Tom Vilsack. Now, to give you a little story on Tom Vilsack, he is a Democrat, he is a career lawyer and politician, and he is in his second term of being the Ag Secretary. He was under Obama, and then Biden put him in again, okay? He has never spent a single day as a farmer. I couldn't tell you if the guy knows how to plant a tomato plant, okay? But for some reason, this lawyer slash politician is going to make all the decisions on the agriculture of the United States, all right? So Rubio and Lummis sent a letter to Vilsack stating as this: allowing crop production on CRP lands is a critical step for stabilizing food prices that have skyrocketed in recent months, and to help American growers fulfill the unmet global demand for grain that threatens the lives of tens of millions of people. Okay? This is the government. We can, change anything, right? I mean, hell, we can print money if we want. It's like, oh, we want to devalue the dollar. We want to raise interest rates. Poof. Okay, there we go. And we do it. So let's according to Rubio and Lummis, let's plant these fields this year. Let's get something going on them. This was Vilsack's response. Quickly converting CRP land to crop production is clearly unfeasible and would have negative long-term consequences for the climate and the land. Well, not doing it has negative long-term consequences for the population of human beings, the population of livestock, whatever would be, okay? We need to grow food. Even economists have come out and said that CRP in a situation like this makes no sense. Europe has already started moving forward to allow farmers to plant on fallow land because of the food shortage. But we have, and this doesn't come out anywhere again, I'll tell you this. This is another thing where the Biden administration is doing whatever they can, probably on purpose, to make the public suffer. Let's make food more expensive. Let's make there be less food. Let's just get them. That's all we want to do. Completely bend them to our will. Guys, anytime somebody's talking about farmers not being able to plant, farmers struggling to pay their bills, whatever would be, okay? Farmers can make more money planting food than letting the ground go fallow. You can save more money if the farmers plant food rather than let the ground go fallow. All the ground being not planted is doing is rising the prices up. Again, we talk about inflation. What causes it? There's so much money and there's only so much product to buy. That's what causes inflation, okay? Supply and demand. There's more money than there is product. So let's bring up the product. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't pump more oil. We can't produce more food because the climate. Guys, that's what's going on. The farmers can't plant. Can you? Because it may be the only way you're going to be able to afford to eat. Pinball out.